in theory, right? Obviously you can have both, but the anemia itself, you have less blood, therefore you're definitely going to constrict on the periphery of your body, right? You're going to constrict on the arms and the legs and everything, because you do want the blood that you do have centered in the heart-brain area, right? But then you're going to have to pump your heart faster too, so it's going to speed the heart rate up and make sure you got plenty of blood at least going through the core. So that's not the typical kind of angina we're talking about, but having anemia actually, if it's really bad anemia, it can cause that. It can cause heart pain, but again, the body should respond to that pretty fast anyway. Okay? So again, that whole rest thing, when you said that earlier, Bridget, maybe, I mean, it's on here, I know it's on here, but honestly, it just really depends, because if somebody's having angina because they have a cholesterol buildup, at some point, you don't want them to rest. At some point, you want to try to fix the problem before it actually turns into a heart attack. So there's obviously a very delicate balance. You can't just tell somebody that's, all clogged up and overweight to just go out and start running, might actually kill them. On the other hand, that does bring up another point, one of these treatments, and that is a stress test. Anybody heard of that?
Treadmill.
Huh?
Treadmill.
Treadmill, right? So, throw somebody on a treadmill because they had chest pain, thought they had a heart attack, you're like, no, it wasn't a heart attack. How about hop on this treadmill and see if we can give you a heart attack? So it's kind of like that, right? Well, if you think about that, again, you're not really trying to give somebody a heart attack, but you are trying to, you throw an EKG on them, you're trying to look at it and be like, okay, how far can we press this? How bad is it? Because you really want to know if that angina is stable or not. Meaning, if somebody is sitting there minding their own business, doing nothing exciting, and all of a sudden they get that chest pain, that's not a good sign. Because that means that just doing nothing is already too much oxygen demand than what they can supply through that coronary artery, okay? It's called unstable angina, or angina, sorry. If somebody is like running and they just haven't run in years and they just decide, hey, yeah, I'm gonna go start exercising, and then they have chest pain, okay, that's more stable, okay? That means it's probably better off, right? Because there is an increased oxygen demand. So you throw them on the treadmill and you try to find out exactly where they are, right? And you think about it, worst case scenario, that person has a heart attack right there on the treadmill. Worst case scenario, they're wired up to an EKG, you know exactly what's going on, and the people standing there are trained in advanced cardiac life support, okay? You would rather have them do that there in the hospital than a week later at home on the couch eating Cheetos, right? So, it seems a little barbaric, but if you're going to do it, you might as well do it there, because you're not going to change a person's fate by doing it. You're just going to discover a world to do something about it. Okay?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, if you're on a long airplane ride, are you more at risk because you're just stationary?
Okay. If you're on a long airplane ride, you're more at risk for clotting. And if this happens to be, where a clot is going to kick you into, a heart attack or anything, sure. But most of the time, they try to get you up and moving around if you're on a really, really long flight, just because there have been instances in the past where people would fly like from here to Australia and just sit there and not move the entire time. How you do that without coming back from, I have no idea. But people were doing it, and then they'd stand up when they got to Australia, take a couple of steps, that thrombus would dislodge, and that embolism would hit their lung, and they would die. Right? I mean, so that has happened. I mean, on Qantas Airlines. So they, the flight attendants now are trained to be able to get up, dude. Just move, do something, flex your legs, So it doesn't happen as much anymore. Oh, by the way, you can also do a stress test just by injecting epinephrine in somebody, and that does the same thing to their heart as the treadmill would, right? So, yeah, they do it that too, do it that way too. Okay? Plus, you can reverse it if you have to. All right, so what we're looking at in this upper right corner is a coronary angiography or angiogram. Okay, inject dye in somebody, watch, see where it goes. What you're looking for is the dye, and you can see where it goes, and then it goes, all of a sudden it stops. You're like, oh, okay, there's a problem. Now we know where the problem is, and you can go ahead and do a cardiac catheterization, which is kind of similar. Remember when we were talking about the AAAs, the abdominal aortic aneurysms, and we were talking about how you stick that wire up there, that cath, and you throw that stent in there and pop it open. It's kind of the same thing here, where you stick that cath into the artery that's clogged up, and a lot of times what they'll do is they'll do what they call balloon catheterization. So that wire will go up there and have this little inflatable balloon on the end, it's a hard little balloon, and get right where the plaque buildup is, and then they kind of pump it up. And they pump it up, and it'll push the plaque to the sides and kind of compact it down, and then they release it, and they do that a couple more times, and they just keep, do that a few times until that plaque is like all compressed so that it opens up the space. Again, that's not fixing anything long term. That's, hey buddy, I'm giving you another chance. You didn't have a heart attack yet. We're going to push these plaque things back, and you better start changing your life or you're going to die. Right? You're going to have a heart attack, or you're going to have bypass surgery or something like that. Yeah, they do a lot of that through the femoral. Yes. Okay. All right. So again, I mentioned earlier, sometimes you're going to have. Not sometimes. It's a pretty well-established fact that long-term inflammation can cause cardiovascular disease later on. CRP is one of those generic indicators that you can test for to see reactive protein in the blood. And all it really says is there's inflammation somewhere in the body. But if you have that long-term, for that matter, if you have homocysteine levels high long-term, those will also say there's inflammation somewhere in the body, as will SED rates, erythrocyte sedimentation rates. There are some things that are just kind of general, say there's inflammation, and if you have those long term, that does indicate that you could be at increased risk for cardiovascular disease, kind of what I was talking about earlier, because that inflammatory process over a long period of time can lead to arterial damage, and therefore gives that plaque somewhere to stick to. Okay. What was the reactive protein again?
Troponin. Oh wait, no.
Natalie, have you ever met Creamex wife? I don't know if that's her or not. I met her once. She actually looks a lot like that. And this was not the picture that I originally put in this PowerPoint. He changed it on me. So I'm wondering if that's her. Yeah, it's just all over the place on this PowerPoint. Is that her? Does it look like her? Okay. Oh yeah, well, his hair can't change. Anyway, what was the reactive protein again? Okay, so there's the ESR I was talking about. Oh, this says erythrocyte sedimentation rate. What I mentioned earlier, right there. Right, this kind of Yeah,
That just
but
tells
your
you
ankle hurts.
That's what your assessment or other tests would indicate where it's happening, but that's just telling you there's inflammation going on.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if my ESR, CRP are all the time, just because my knees have been hurt for like 15 years. You know, always. I'm operating in about an hour since last night. Stupid leg was hurting. So I sat there and I soaked in the tub for a while. And then I tried to lay down and then my tooth was pounding because of stupid crown that they put on. I think they got bacteria in there and then crowned over it.
Oh my
So
God.
it keeps getting infected every couple of months. It was just pounding all night. Got me up all night. I was very mad. Anyway, I digress. Heart attacks. Okay, so we went to heart attacks. Heart attacks, they come on suddenly, okay? At least it feels like it. Why? Because your body will compensate as much as it can until it can't. And then all of a sudden, it's done, and it hurts. Your muscles start to die. People will describe it frequently as an elephant sitting on my chest, which I think is what that little gray thing is on my chest. Or crushing chest pain, something like that. Look at that part about radiating. It says it may radiate to the back, neck, jaw, shoulder, arm. Okay? You guys were probably already familiar with, hey, somebody's having a heart attack, it hurts their chest, but it radiates down that left arm. Right? That's pretty typical for what people say a heart attack feels like. However, keep in mind that the first three on there, your back, neck, and jaw, that they say happens more in females than males because that radiating in the shoulder and arm tends to happen more in males. So that whole radiating down the left arm, that used to be like what everyone said because the only people who were having heart attacks were men, right? Well, that's changed. So we need to be aware that how to spot it if it's a female having a heart attack.
Do they know why the difference between male versus female?
On why it's hurting in different places?
Yeah.
You know, I looked that up years ago, and I think what it said was basically electrical impulses like nerve and nerve pain. Electricity always follows the path of least resistance, okay? The only thing different between males and females in the upper torso area, I mean, we have the same arteries, same veins, same nerve patterns, is females tend to have, let's say, a little more adipose tissue in their upper thoracic cavity area than males. And that fat can throw off the pathway of least resistance for those pain receptors and those nerves. That's what I understand why they think it probably happens more like that. It's just pure physiology, really.
So if males have like more adipose there, they may.
Yeah, then they may feel more like a female typically would, and if females have less adipose there, they may feel more like a male.
Got it.
Yeah. So it's just, again, something to keep in mind, because people have definitely missed that in the past where they would be a healthcare provider, trained in everything, and they would, 65-year-old female, we had a heart attack right in front of them, and they're like, oh, my jaw. All right, let's look at your teeth.
Is the
Usually after that women come in after the heart attack, like a week or so, or just like, it's days afterwards, and then they'll be like, oh, you just suffered a heart attack, look at your EKG. And
Yep.
just because women aren't as aware of the symptoms, because it does show differently.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that too. Actually, I have a little video on that. Okay?
is there a certain like arm?
Usually left.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a pure anatomy thing. I mean, the heart is